6 minutes gone in the opening quarter of this match. There's Johnny Lang, the Eastern Suburbs coach. Down they go. In it goes. Just about now. And a Redcliffe ball. Very quickly won by Redcliffe. To Webb standing wide. He gets it away this time to Bleakley. Bleakley through the gap. He goes for the line. He's over. He'll run around and put it over underneath, almost underneath the post. Bleakley in for the opening try of the match, and it had to come somewhere. And Redcliffe get off to a good start. They lead by 3 points to 0. There's Webb standing wide. Got it away this time to Bleakley. Bleakley straight through the gap, pushed away at one tackle, pushed away another one, and will run around and score. Let's have a look at that one head on now. And here's John Grant.
Yes, from front on, it's all too easy for Steve Bleakley. A simple fend and away he goes. It's too close to the line from there. It's a good try by Steve Bleakley, following on some of the fine form he showed last Tuesday night.
Metre out, so he's over for the...
Brigginshaw to distribute. Cavill Hugh. Hugh, a strong young lad, over the top. Stacey pulls it down, he's in! Yes, Stacey's going to put it down! Eastern Suburbs have come back. Good thinking from young Cavill Hugh. He received the ball in a very awkward position. Here he is, flat-footed. Thought, well, I better try and break the defence. Knew he couldn't. A bit of a speculator, really. High, over the top, over a toy. Stacey has to jump for it, juggle it, pull it in, and by the time he got it, he was around everybody. And Steve Stacey scores the try, and 5-3 with a kick to come, John Grant.
That was great work by Cavill Hugh, as you said, George. Not so much a speculator when you've got 3 men sitting outside. All he knew he had to do was to try and pop it up somehow. And Steve Stacey, welcome back to first grade. Steve's heavily wrapped, looks a bit like Farlap there, but he certainly runs like the Steve Stacey of old and puts it down as close to the post as possible.
15 metres from the halfway line. Holborn, Paul Kahn. Good pass to Cavill Hugh, and away goes the young fellow. Inside to Bradley Becker! They won't catch Becker! Whoa! Try number 2. What a beauty! Well, Bradley Becker said this morning, I spoke to him on the phone, I haven't scored many tries this far through the season, but I'll give you a couple this afternoon, George. Well, here's the first one, Paul Kahn and the young fellow Cavill Hugh. What a great player this fellow's going to be if he keeps going. Must have heard Becker, turned, and once Becker got it, shut the gates. He won't catch Bradley Becker. And there it is, 2 tries in 3 minutes, and East have snatched the lead, 8 points to 5. John Grant.
What a fantastic return to the game. I was watching the first 10 minutes of the game and wondering when it was going to be with Redcliffe was going to score their second try. This is Paul Kahn at his absolute best, and all he needs is a runner that runs into the gap like that one. Cavill Hughes showing a lot of promise following that first try. Brad Becker found his way right across from the wing, and if you watch the early part of the try, he hung in there behind Paul Kahn and behind Cavill Hugh, and as you say, George, he's told you this morning, I'll have 2 tries today, thank you.
Shane McNally, that's 2 out of 2, and he's leading Redcliffe in the 1982 Winfield State League final by 10 points. Eastern Suburbs away now. Becker to Tangle at the Stacey, chased by Colin Part. Palms Part. Ray Brown comes across and bumps him into touch. 15 metres inside Eastern Suburbs territory. Both teams throwing everything into it. Abbott, Cherry, Brown. Can he get it to Talbot? Inside to Big Jim Talbot. Inside the quarter. Fires it inside to Terry Webb. Terry Webb not real happy with referee Ward. He reckoned the ball was needing a try in this crucial third quarter. Down by 7 points. Peter Griffiths, the little battering ram, barging his way towards the line. Still on his feet. Still struggling. Pull down finally. 6 metres out. Can Redcliffe score? That's the burning question. Georgie Trudgett, dummy half. Out to Polden Smith. He's lost the ball. Steve Stacey. And solid in defence as well. Last tackle coming up. Jeff Ash. Centre of the ruck. Makes a half break. And now we've got a bit of attack. Inside to Ash. Asher swings me with him. It's over his shoulder. 6 to go indicated. 6 to go indicated. Eastern Suburbs ball. Touched by Redcliffe. East on the attack. 5 minutes left in this quarter. Out to Stacey. Stacey put down. They're not doing anything fancy. They've got 5 left in this lot of 6. Holborn into Brigginshaw. Shane McNally, a long pass to Kahn once again. Kahn has Mark Payne with him. Fires it out the backer now. Confronted by Talbot. Runs around Talbot to the quarter way. Infield he comes and a try, I think. No, pull down. Eastern Suburbs. 3 left in this lot of 6. Mark Payne a dummy half. At the... Whoa. McNally. Slingsby. Slingsby towards the line. Half metre out. Can he score? Lead by 12 points to 5. One left in this lot of 6. Brigginshaw calling for it. He's got it. A drop goal. Yes. 1 point. 13 points to 8. Well, some sustained. 2 minutes of play remaining. John Boxall. Boxall replaced Steve Bullow. 10 minutes into this third quarter. Added a bit of fire here Tuesday night. We'll see if he can do it again. Trudge it across field. Well, what happened there? That looked like a forward pass. Stephen Cherry. Cherry inside to Steve Bax. He's got support. Terry Webb juggled. Pull down. Redcliffe needing points. Terry Webb plays it forward. Over! Over! Terry Webb scores the try. And 13 points to 8. Let's have a look at it once again. Plenty of Redcliffe supporters here, as you can see. Terry Webb forward, goes down real low, and there's no mistake about that. Fair try, 2 tries each, 13-8 from front on John Grant.
Yes, well, this is the finish to the try, but what got their ball to there in the first place was a very suspect, if you like, a very strange fixed move from a tap kick. Redcliffe turn the tables right
coming
again.
Up. John Grant announcing that at the conclusion of this game. On it goes this time to Holborn. Holborn's starting to look good, but his tackle from behind got the pass to Tingle, and Tingle will score. He's over underneath the post, and he's started great guns in the final quarter and moved to a lead of 16 points to 10. Here it is again, an Eastern Suburbs ball from the scrum. Brigginshaw. And then it'll come to Holborn. Holborn through that gap, drawing plenty of defence. Now you can see Tingle just starting to cut back inside. He's tackled, but gets the pass to Tingle. Atoy gives chase, but it's all over. Tingle far too fast. Through and over underneath the post. And we'll have a look at the head-on shot now, coming up with John Grant.
Yes, coming up east, right back into this, not giving Redcliffe any chance to settle down. And Greg Holborn, that's a good break from Holborn. And Tingle positioning himself beautifully really shows us the speed that this young kid's got. That's probably the first opportunity he's had in this game. And I must admit he's made the most of that one right under the post, and that's a certain 5 points.
Try scorer, Brett Tingle. It's a big start for Redcliffe to give away now. Paul Kahn. Still going Kahn. Got away to Holborn again. And Holborn, oh, he got the pass to Sarah, lost it. Picked up by Kahn, but the referee to play the knock on. Talbot pushed Kahn away, and Kahn threw the ball back at him.
I think Kahn looked a bit too big for Jim.
Terry Webb's going to take a tap. Goes himself. He's through. He's going for the line. Is he in? Yes, he's over. Second try to Terry Webb. Both times he's really had to fight for the line. And he's done it on that occasion to get Redcliffe back into it. 18-13 is the lead. Here he goes. Takes the tap. Dummies through the gap. You couldn't for the world see him getting through there, but he does, and he's over for the try. The head-on's coming up now. Here's John Grant.
Yeah, that's 2 great tries to Terry Webb. Certainly, I just compliment Eastern Suburbs on their defence, and then Terry Webb makes a mockery of the whole statement by running through half of the forward pack. That's a great try, in fact, and a crucial one for Redcliffe at this point.
Kick is successful. That narrows the gap. It's 18-15 and a great ball game on our hands here at Lang Park.
Sure injured. Time off indicated, and it looks like Bobby Jones and Errol Slingsby having a little bit of a tape to tape there. A field goal. Inside to Kahn! Yes! Slinger goes in. Oh, won't he be happy? One of Eastern Suburbs' most popular players, Errol Slingsby, playing his first full final for Eastern Suburbs, and watch Genghis Khan straight up the middle like a battering ram. Slingsby's there, in for try number 4. 21 points to 15. They defeat Redcliffe by 23 points to 15.
in Fortitude Valley and Eastern Suburbs. Eastern Suburbs scoring 264 points in the competition, 48 against. Valley's 230 and 72 against. A good crowd for this match this afternoon. Two good teams that have performed very, very competently during the Winfield State League. They've met once so far this season. That was in the Woolies pre-season. It was a win to East by 20 points to 16. We'll find out the story this year in just a moment. Wally Lewis leading Fortitude Valley out, and notice once again, Mike, that he has that very heavily strapped left knee again, the one that's been giving a bit of trouble, and he had it very severely strapped up last week, and it's exactly the same this time round.
I think it's for prevention more than cure, Bill, so it doesn't get any worse.
Well, he's one of the key men, the key man, I should imagine, in the Fortitude Valley lineup. Eastern Suburbs this afternoon, led by Michael Booth, their fullback, who's also had a very good season so far, Michael, and he's been rewarded by leading the side today.
Yes, been very steady for Eastern Suburbs. We have commented on it as he's played the games in front of us here so far at Lang Park, and acquitted himself very well indeed.
There's one change in the Eastern Suburbs lineup, and that's Larry Brigginshaw, of course, is out. Trevor Cook comes into the side. I would imagine that he'll go to 5'8", and Lindenberg into the halfback spot, but we'll just wait until we see how they line up when they do get underway. Referee today is Barry Gomersall from Mackay. He's got the top job here today, Mick, and he, of course, has been doing pretty well the last couple of seasons.
Been very steady indeed, and of course I've mentioned that before, but he has a hooter similar to mine, Bill. Yeah.
The ball to Max Harler's dummy half, Cook, Lindenberg. Little kick from him. Booth is lurking throughout after it. Coming across is Geordie Laurie. Taken on the toe by Booth. He's got the run on it. Can he get a bit of a go from here? No, he's going to be pushed into touch. It'll be picked up, dived on by Kelly, and it's a try. Kelly's in. Eastern Suburbs draw first blood at Lang Park.
Oh, superb stuff, and quick thinking. Of course, it was Lindenberg that put the chip over the top, and from then on it was up, as you will see here. A little short chip from Lindenberg, and I tell you what, Michael Booth showing a lot more speed than I've given him credit for. Put Jody Laurie into a very invidious position, Bill. There was the kick. Jody had to take him out of play and lay helpless as he watched Ray Kelly go over for a very easy try.
Here's a head-on shot of that now with East and a lead of 4 points to 0. Here's Lindenberg coming straight up to Brian Niebling, then the little kick, and look at Booth. Took off. And he had Laurie in all sorts of trouble here, because once he got a toe to it, Laurie's had to turn around and start to go, whereas he had his feet on the way. So he had a bit of a start on him. He didn't as he disappeared over the touchline, but I don't think Michael Booth would have been too worried about that as he saw Ray Kelly dive on it for the try. The score remains East leading by 4-0. Kavanagh to back in, good chip kick, flying through. Yes, it is a try. Good work, Johnson the man. Good piece of work.
Oh, well done, Ross Hendrick. We haven't seen him play too well because, as we said this morning, he's been injured a lot. But watch this. He couldn't get it cleanly, and he didn't want to pass it, so he thought, well, they're all behind me. Just a nice little chip over here. And watch Johnson. No one in front, and straight ahead. And Valley's back in this match.
Right back into it. 4-all the score. Here it is now. There's Hendrick. Now you can't at this stage see Johnson. Now you can. Eyes on the ball all the way. And over in that corner. Waved away. The score remaining 4-all at Lang Park. Points are on the board. Kavanagh across field. Then Brian Niebling. Got it back nicely to Kavanagh. Turns it on to Hendrick. Hendrick to the halfway. No support. Now over the top to Lewis. This is good. Keeping it going. Lewis dummied nicely. Then to Johnson. He's got Booth to be put in the touch.
Oh dear, I thought Johnson could have gone infield there to keep play mobile for Valleys, but beautifully done.
Halting his progress. Now to Ray Kelly. To Backer. Well held up by the defence, so he had to go back inside. There's the half-time hooter, Lindenberg to Cook. Cook up over the quarter line. Booth, the big fullback, claps on the pace. He's got some too. Back inside to Stacey. Here's danger. Stacey has Geordie up. Laurie going in all directions. And it won't be 4-all at half-time. It'll be 8-4 for sure. What a try.
What a beauty. And it was full length of the field. Great stuff from Eastern Suburbs, and here it is again. Ray Kelly running all around the place here. Gets it out to this wing, now it goes right back the other side, and there's total contortions done here at times to keep the ball alive. Lindy gives a little short one, and this is the man that made the break. Cook on to the fullback and captain, who's having a ripping game, is Mr. Booth. And Stacey went out and in and then out again, and of course once he was past Jody, that was the end of it for Jody Laurie, and a great try.
Great wingers try, Mick. As you said, it started off with Cook, but beautifully finished off by Steve Stacey. And here it is again. There are several bits about this that really stood out. I think that little short pass of Lindenberg's
and the
was
one
top stuff.
And Backer getting it back inside was a bit of a miracle to start.
There's Lindy, just enough to Cook. Wriggled out of the tackle. Now this one they've really put on the pace. And look at Geordie Laurie. He'll be having some bad dreams tonight because he's had a heck of a time today. Chopping and changing them and coming at him in all directions. Stacey, tackled by Johnson right on the line, but the big fella had his eye set for that corner, and that's exactly where he went. Half-time sees Easts leading by 8 points to 4. Tried desperately. Lewis from dummy half, diving for the line, he's in. Wally Lewis over. It's 8-all at Lang Park.
And that was an individual effort to Lewis. He really went for the blocker on that occasion. You'll see when he picked it all up at dummy half, watch him. I'm off. And as soon as he made up his mind, look at him. He was just threw himself. Now there's 1, 2, 3 there. No chance. He's over the white line, and that was a determined effort. Look at it. Head on.
It's real determination, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
52% so far this season. Is he going to make the difference to the Valleys team? No, he's not. It's still 8-all at Lang Park. Darren Morris coming up for the shot at goal. A crucial one here. 2 points are coming very handy for Valleys, and they've got them. 10-8. They hit the front at Lang Park. And he's been successful. They are in command by 12 points to 8.
You wouldn't have seen it.
Bob Arnold leaving the field. Now Russell Klein, big chance, he's in. Russell Klein in, a very important try for Valleys.
Oh,
Lead of 16-8.
Oh, good stuff from Valleys. They just kept pounding away, and in the end, it was East defence that just gave up. Short pass. Now watch it. Nothing should have eventuated from there. Just bad defence. Klein going in for an easy one. He should have bowled him into touch there. We'll see from the head on who it was, but I think it's Booth that misses him. I could be wrong. No, I was wrong. It was Backer. Dreadful. See, he should have really got him there.
Bumped off very easily. It's going to fall well short, so the score remains Valleys lead by 16-8. And that's three-quarter time at Lang Park. Clearing it across there to Lindenberg. Long one to McNally. Juggled it. Now over the top. Picked up by Backer. Backer sends it back inside to Jones. Jones sets sail for the corner as he got it down. Waiting for the referee. Lewis disputing it. Try. It is a try. Awarded there by referee Barry Gomershall. Took plenty of time with it.
Well, actually, he had to. He was waiting for his touch judge, and Wally Lewis is saying a few words to the touch judge. But let's have a look at the replay. I tell you what, McNally juggled it and then went the same way, and that's where the try was on. If he had gone back inside, nothing would have happened. Let's have a close look and see if Jones does go out. There's little Jody, and now look at the cover defence coming, and oh, he dropped it. And that's what Lewis is raving about, and well he might.
Shane McNally on his way with his shot at goal. It looks reasonable, but not good enough. So the score remains 16-12. Valleys looking for the try to seal it up. Wally Lewis, desperation stakes, but away it goes, and there's a try for Carrocken. Terry Carrocken over in the corner, and Valleys have wrapped it up at Lang Park now.
And deservedly so. They've played great football, and that's dry weather football they're playing right now with the rain tumbling down. And I thought that the little fullback, Jody Laurie, would go in, but no, here's Lewis standing up, looks for the support. Bit late there, and Carrocken, who showed us quite a bit of speed and a couple of movements earlier back.
So the score remains 20-12 in Valleys' favour.
He kicked the field goal, but I thought he had a great captain's knock. Haven't performed and produced the goods this afternoon under the first pressure, real pressure that we've seen them.
Meskel comes into the front row in place of Adrian Higgs. What a Manly lineup is a pretty solid one too. The fullback is Colin Scott. The wingers are Terry Butler and Warren Green. In the centres, Gene Miles and Brett French. The 5'8" is Wally Lewis, and the halfback Peter Dawes. Lock forward is Brian Walsh. In the second row, it's Mal Green and Greg Dowling. And the front row is Tony Kajewski, David Green and Gary Coyne. The last time these two teams met was in the Woolies pre-season, and South won that match by 18 points to 11. And very, very vocal crowd out here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd too, considering we're going live to the People Bill. A marvellous crowd.
A few other pretty interesting clashes throughout the night also. Eddie Muller up against David Green in the hooking department. That's an interesting clash in itself. So the match has a lot going for it tonight, and I think we'll get plenty of action. Referee, of course, is Barry Gomersall. He's the man in charge. There he is, checking with both captains now. But a Manly coming from the northern end of the ground. There's the whistle, and away they go. Wally Lewis puts it into motion, and the ball will carry down to Gary Belcher, and Belcher up to about 20 metres out from his own line. No points on the board as yet, and 5.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Back over to Colin Scott. Outside to Miles. Miles cutting back inside. He's over for the first try of the match. Dean Miles is in. Wynnum lead by 4-0, and Coach Des Morris pretty happy with himself.
Hard clapping it, and well he might. What a beautiful short pass, and didn't Miles run onto it? He blitzed onto it. It's Tony Scott just holding it up. And Colin Scott, sorry, not Tony. I'm about 8 years too late. And over he goes. Oh, well, you've got to forgive me. But that was a brilliant try.
Here's a head on now, and as you can see, over there to Colin Scott. Outside to Gene Miles. Miles through the gap, racing away, got away from Belcher, dived up by Kellaway from behind. He did well to get there, but the big fellow was away and in for the opening try of the match.
They were controlling the ball well and doing everything with, well, a sense of purpose.
There's a conversion by Warren Green. So at 6 points to 0, Wynnum leading. It's a pass to Meninga. Meninga gets it to Lumbey. Penalty. He's offside in there. Redcliffe at Bishop Park, and Southern Valley's at Lang Park. Here's the kick for goal, and it is successful. So it's 8 points to 0. Wynnum Manly lead. 6 o'clock. Final tackle. Harry. Back over to Meninga. Over the top. Eventually to Vivas, who then puts the boot underneath it. Goes nice and high. Very high. Bounces away from Belcher. Belcher will get it though. Belcher's in for the try. Wow. I don't think Wynnum can quite believe it. But it looked as though South were in all sorts of trouble when Vivas put it up.
Well, actually, as you can see, South's nearly getting to the panic stage of passing. Vivas in all sorts of trouble, had to go back, put it up, then ran through to put the ball onside, and everybody, including Wynnum Manly, just looked at it. Belcher all onside, play on, and I tell you what, that's not what Wynnum Manly's all about. That's their first disappointing lull in defence.
Here's the head on now. So high was that one that we have to wait for it to come back in a vision. There it goes now. And straight through was Belcher. Colin Scott out after him, but he's in for the try. And the ball's on its way away to the left-hand side of the uprights. So it's 8 points to 4. Wynnum Manly leading. 2 on this weekend. Final tackle. Ball rolls loose. Ripped out of his hands. Penalty Wynnum. Another chance for Warren Green.
One big difference too.
Here's the kick by Green. Successful. Another 2-pointer. So it's a lead now for Wynnum of 10 points to 4. Now Gene Miles. He's going to have a go. He's over the line. Could he get it down? I'd say he has. Gomersall in there. Awards a try. Wynnum Manly in for try number 2. And they swip to the lead even further.
And that was powerhouse stuff. Usually we see Wally Lewis skipping in for this sort of play, but on this occasion you couldn't get a much more powerful man. And Meninga's the marker, I might add. He sees what Miles is about, and there's a flurry of players. Mr. Gomersall right on the spot, takes his time, has a little peep around before he awards the try, and a good effort from Gene Miles.
Let's have a look at it from the head on. There's Miles. Yes, there's no doubt about it. He's got it down. Gomersall looked around. Brian Walsh, he had no doubt it was a try. He jumped up in the air, and now it's confirmed, and we're near it. I was fully expecting him to drop in there because we know how powerful he is close to the touchline. Conversion successful. 16 points to 4. Wynnum leading in the final of the Winfield State League. Back to who? French. French puts up the bomb. Charging through as Lindner. The ball bounces. And it's a try. Yes, Belcher, the fullback, scores the try.
And that's the most disinterested looking try I've ever seen in my life. Belcher was not real interested in doing anything about it. There weren't too many South players. He just followed it for something to follow. Have a look at this on the NEC replay.
Yes, you'll see it come back now to French. French puts it up. Lindner was flying through out after it. You can see Belcher back where he is. Boom. The ball rolled loose, and Belcher said, hello, I'll have this, and it's a try. Well.
Oh, a fair try, but a rather peculiar way to get 4 points.
Well, they're up there on that board, Mick. Here's the head on. Can't get much of an idea who got a hand to it there. 16 to 8 is now 16 points to 10. 16 to 10 and 15 minutes.
Thinking about it, that'll fix it right up. Here it is.
Back over to Lewis. There's the drop shot at goal, and that seals it up because it's over. 17 points to 10. Field goal by Wally Lewis. Set. So into the final minute. David Green is through the gap and is over for the try. Green in for another one. Coming into full time. Here it is again.
And that was well done from Green. That's the one that put the nail in the coffin. And South, every time they play Wynnum Manly for the rest of the season, will think about that one because it wasn't luck. It was great play from Wynnum Manly, and they've sealed South's doom tonight.
There it is, Green across field and in for the try. And gives Wynnum a lead of 21 points to 10. With the kick just to come. And there's Des Morris, quite happy down there in the Wynnum Manly dugout. And here's the full-time hooter. Warren Green is yet to kick the goal. But it's all over, and full marks to Wynnum Manly. A great performance from them tonight.
So, I'm sorry, Bill. Yes, it has been. And here comes Green on his way in.
And he is going to miss that one, but it's not to worry. 21 points to 10, the full-time score. Tries for Wynnum Manly, 2 by Miles, 1 by David Green. Warren Green kicked 4 goals from 6 attempts, and Wally Lewis's field goal. 2 tries to Belcher for Southern Suburbs, and Meninga 1 goal from 3 attempts. Vivas none from 2. Canterbury man of the match.
I've given it to the hard-working Mal Green. He played well early in the match when things were tight and tough. There he is. That's what he'll be getting to. $200 worth of beautiful Canterbury gear, and he had a fine match, a real good forwards game, and he's a nice tough customer. Fancies a tackle, but his attack tonight was rather good and rather solid as well.
And so there it is. Let's have a look at the statistics out of the match. Scrums ended up at 6-all, and the penalties narrowly Wynnum Manly way by 11 to 10. A bit of kicking going on in the match. Wynnum 21 occasions, South 18. South missed 16 tackles tonight as opposed to Wynnum's 8. That tells the story. Wynnum lost the ball on 16 occasions and South's on 13. So a pretty happy group down there of Wynnum Manly. And they've taken out the Winfield State League for 1984. Back with our NEC try of the match in just a moment. Presentation of medallions to the members of the winning team here tonight, but while we're doing that, let's have a look at the NEC try of the match coming up right now. The prize for this week is a 14-inch remote control colour TV. So here it is now, the try of the match. A lot of bit of stepping and weaving and dodging, and the man is going in for the try there is for Wynnum Manly. All you have to do is write his name on the entry form, which will be in the Daily Sun tomorrow. You could win this 14-inch remote control colour TV, and of course it's Quality Rank Arena. So that's the prize, your entry form in the Daily Sun tomorrow. So congratulations to Wynnum Manly on a good win here today.
Yes, they had a fine win. They powered Souths right out of the game. The defence was spot on, and that great attacking machine of Souths just couldn't get going.
The Winfield State League between Wynnum Manly, the defending title holders, and Pass Brothers. Rod Morris, what's your selection for tonight?
Well, I'm going for Winham Manly on form. I think they have the form on the board to be able to take this game tonight. But it's going to be a very hard game. I think Brothers will be fairly fired up for this game. I'm sure Russ Broderick has some surprises for the Winham Manly side.
And welcome back to Lang Park. The kickoff has just been taken. Brothers running from the southern end. They're running with the breeze. Winham Manly running from the northern end of Lang Park. The central referee from North Queensland is Barry Gomersall. The Brothers side, only one run-on change from the programmed team, and that is Johnny Tapp comes from the reserves, and he goes into the back line, into the centres to partner Robbie Grogan, and Darren Morris has been dropped into the reserves for Brothers. Dawes, away to Dowling, on to Wally Lewis, through Kajewski, picked up on the bounce by Brian Walsh, but we'll have a scrum. The pass travelled forward on the quarterway. Unintentionally forward, the ruling by Barry Gomersall. Here's the NEC replay of that pass. Let's watch it. Lewis through Kajewski. Yes, and he was on the quarterway and the pass landed in front of the quarterway. So a good indication for Barry Gomersall that the pass had gone forward. Brothers kicking on the first tackle. Shepardson putting it deep. Kilroy chasing downfield to try and pick up Colin Scott. He has it 10 metres from his own line. Kilroy gets in, puts him to ground. Bob Linder running hard down the blind side, trying to get past Kilroy. A lovely pass around the corner for Warren Green. He gets away from Tim Dwyer. They won't stop him. Warren Green goes in to score try number 1. Put it down to Bob Linder, who started it with that magnificent break down the blind side of the ruck. Warren Green scores the first points of the Winfield State League final. Lovely pass by Linder as he was taken by Kilroy around the corner to Warren Green. He got away from the diving Tim Dwyer and in to score.
Yes, so Bob Linden's certainly in good form. This just shows his speed here and his ability to unload the pass around the corner as well. As you can see, he ran the back of Joey Kilroy to Warren Green, and Warren Green has the pace to come on with it and score a good try. Up until that stage, neither team really had control of this game, but Winham Manly now, I think, will settle down a little bit, and I'm sure Brothers will come back.
When these two sides last met, it was in the Woolies final, in fact, and Warren Green kicked 6 out of 6 that day. Well, he started well tonight. No mistake about that kick. And Winham Manly lead by 6 points to 0 with a minute and a half remaining until quarter time. David Green is the acting halfback. Back to Lewis. He'll attempt a field goal. And no goal. Waved away. So at quarter time, in the Winfield State League final at Lang Park, it's Winham Manly 6, leading Brothers 0, and we'll return after this break. Fried chicken profile of Bob Linder made his debut 2 seasons ago with Souths. He'd played for the Australian Independent Schoolboys before he went over to Souths to start his A-grade career. 2 years with Souths, in which he played for Brisbane and Queensland, and this season he moved down to Cougarai Oval to link up with Winham Manly. He's a great player, Bob Linder. He perhaps had a slower start to this season, but as he said himself, he felt that it was probably harder to impress when you're in such a great lineup as Winham Manly, and he's now just starting to find his feet. And to make that vital break, here's our Kentucky Fried Chicken profile of Joe Kilroy. He made his A-grade debut back with Norths in 1979, and in fact in 1980 he was the key player in North's upset premiership win over Souths. And who'll ever forget that sensational try he set up? He started back in his own line just after half-time, and it was Brian Bird, I think, from memory, who finished it off, a try that perhaps won Norths the final. It was a great year for him, 1980. He was the Colt of the year, and he was the runner-up that year in the Rothmans gold medal. He's been over at Brothers for a couple of seasons, has represented Brisbane and Queensland, and who knows, could be in the Queensland side, which we'll be announcing for the State of Origin at full time of tonight's telecast. From the line, tackle by Dowling. Dan Staines, the Brothers lock forward, charging towards the line. Ball went backwards, picked up by Trevor Bailey. Bailey trying to burrow his way over. Lost the ball, though, says referee Barry Gomersall. Dwyer. David Green from dummy half. Back to Lewis. Then it goes to Dawes. He'll throw it wide for Britt French. French gives it away to Linder. He chips ahead over the top of Johnny Tapp into the in-goal area and knocked dead by Johnny Tapp. Lewis will use the kick. Into the air it goes. A high bomb. Tim Dwyer waits for it. Up he goes for it, can't take it cleanly. Dawes will claim it, win a Manly ball. You're watching the NEC Big Game live from Lang Park, and here's a penalty going to win a Manly. Brothers not allowing the player to play the ball immediately. Warren Green's kick is up and over. Wynnum go to a lead of 8 points to 0. Allow Wynnum Manly to mount their attack, and this is Linder running back across the ruck and running hard. Bob Linder, a lovely pass out to Ian French. French trying to cut back infield, away to Terry Butler. Oh, that's as good a try as you'll see. That could be the try to wrap up the Winfield State League final. And a lot of that work done initially by Greg Dowling, just taking that settling tackle to allow Wynnum Manly to mount their defence, and as they run that angle so well. And there's Bob Linder coming back across the ruck onto Ian French, crashing through the brothers' tacklers and inside to Terry Butler, backing up brilliantly. Wynnum Manly in to score a try that takes them to a lead of 12-0 with the kick to come.
Well, once again, it's Bob Linder that makes the run and feeds the ball out to Ian French. You can see Ian French's strength here. He just busts back inside these two defenders and pass the ball back inside to Terry Butler. Always there for Terry Butler, always backing up on the inside, always in the right place at the right time, and just going around for a nice try. But I was just thinking before that, the brothers were doing a very good job holding Wynnum Manly out. And if they could have got to the end of the third quarter and Wynnum Manly not scoring any tries, they may have gave them a chance in the fourth quarter.
Plenty of time about this kick. Back pushes it wide, unlike Warren Green to miss one from such a position. So Wynnum Manly lead brothers by 12 points to 0, trying to burrow his way over. Bob Linder goes in to be the dummy half to Lewis, holds the pass up for Mel Green. Back to Ian French, then to Lewis. There's a gap out wide. Ball goes away to Brad Morgan, then on to Warren Green. He's in to score. The gap was always out wide. Wally Lewis knew it. It was just a matter of pushing it out as quickly as they possibly could. Warren Green scores the try that certainly wraps up the Winfield State League final. Here it is again. Lewis, anxious to get it out wide, gives the pass over to Brad Morgan. He quickly got rid of it to Warren Green, and he's in to score in the corner.
It certainly shows the strength of Wally Lewis here. He's caught in the tackle and is still able to unload the pass and throw a long pass over the top to Brad Morgan. And Brad Morgan just passes the ball on to Warren Green.
Claimed to get rid of that pass and push it out wide as quickly as he could. Warren Green's kick is just wide, no goal. Wynnum Manly lead brothers by 16 points to 0. Howling away to Lewis, to Brad Morgan. Dummy half is Bob Linder. Tackled immediately inside the last 10 seconds as the crowd starts the countdown. David Green gives it away to Greg Dowling. Up the centre of the ruck he goes, as he's done all night, Greg Dowling, and there's the hooter. It's all over. Congratulations to Wynnum Manly and their coach Des Morris on a superb win tonight. A tremendous example it was of rugby league from a great side. Superb attack and a defence that was able to keep brothers scoreless. They're a tremendous side, Wynnum Manly. They're one of the best in Australia, if not the best in Australia. And tonight, convincing winners of the Winfield State League, defeating brothers by 16 points to 0. They take away the $12,000 as the winners of the Winfield State League for the second year in a row. And brothers, the losers, take $4,000. The full-time score, Wynnum Manly 16, defeating brothers 0. We'll take this break and then come back to announce our man of the match, our city and country player of the series, and also the Queensland team for the first State of Origin match for this year. So Wynnum Manly, the winners of the Winfield State League final by 16 points to 0. For Wynnum, 2 tries to Warren Green and a try to Terry Butler. Warren Green kicked 2 from 5, and brothers held scoreless. The scrums favoured Wynnum Manly by 8-7. The tight heads went to Wynnum by 3-0. And the penalties to Wynnum Manly by 14-6. Scrum penalties favoured Wynnum Manly by 3-2. From dummy half goes Gene Miles, trying to crash his way over after his superb game here against Ipswich on Sunday. Dummy half is Lewis. He'll go through himself. He's over. He's the master of play like that, Wally Lewis. No doubt about him, when it's close to the line, Lewis was in quickly to make sure there was a quick play of the ball. There was only the slightest of gaps, but through it he went. He's an absolute genius at that sort of play, Wally Lewis. No hope of stopping him, and Winner Manly score the first try. Here's the NEC replay from behind.
That's what makes the man such a great play. He's read that play, and not too many other footballers in the game would have done that. Shoulders now, 6 points to 2.
Colin Scott converts, and Winner Manly lead Redcliffe in the Winfield State League final by 6 points to 2. But wrapped up by the defence. Brian Naylor's there to stop him. The last coming up for Redcliffe. Back to Duncan Weir. He puts in the little kick just across the face of goal. Biles up for it. He can't take it. It's going to be a try. Michael Webb's in to score. Funnel Webb scores underneath the post.
And Duncan Weir, this is a super kick. I was about to say earlier in the game that Redcliffe would miss Wally Fullerton-Smith with his hit power, but they'll miss that all right, but they won't lose a lot in Duncan Weir. They make up for it in other areas. He's got a superb short kicking game, and there's going to be a 6-pointer as a direct result of it.
There's the kick, the conversion by Trevor Benson. Redcliffe lead by 8 to 6. Last coming up for the Seagulls. Miles is the acting halfback, and he'll run himself from there and pops a super pass to Greg Dowling. Oh, great football. Tell you what, mightn't be far off saying that Gene Miles could be picked as a second rower, because that would be absolutely super play that any second rower would be proud of. Swinging across the face of goal, in fact just flicks the upright and goes away. No goal, and Winner Manly lead Redcliffe in the Winfield State League final by 10 points to 8. Wally Lewis to Miles, trying to crash his way through. Super pass to Colin Scott, then another good one to Ian French, and away it goes to Brian Naylor. Oh, great football by Winner Manly, and Brian Naylor goes in to score. Oh, you won't see some better passes than those. Absolutely freakish passes by Winner Manly, and only great players can pull off football like that in big games. Superb football. It might look easy, but I tell you what, it's damn hard to do.
It's reserved for champions, and there's a couple there. A super pass from Miles to French. French does all the right work and gets it to Naylor, who goes in and scores the try. But that's super passing under pressure, and you've got to be a class footballer to even think about doing that, let alone do it properly.
Tell you what, if Gene Miles pulls a couple of those off next Tuesday night, there won't be much left of the Frankfurt grandstand, I wouldn't think.
No,
what a great pass.
Look at this. Well, actually to Scotty, and a superb pass from Scott to Ian French. And that's where Ian French is at his best, when he can get a bit of room to move. And he did all he had to do with the ball. And this man, we mentioned on Sunday, he's an underrated member of the football team.
14-8 it is. Here's the kick on its way from Colin Scott. No goal. Waved away. Winner Manly lead Redcliffe. 9.5 minutes short of half-time by 14 points to 8. Lewis. Miles again. To Colin Scott once more. They're working brilliantly together. Then to Scott. Lewis has to juggle the pass. Now gives it back to Ian French, heading for the post. He's in again. Colin Scott and Gene Miles, they're unstoppable tonight. Redcliffe simply can't contain the two Queensland players. And underneath the post, and that, even at this stage, could be the try to wrap it up for Winner Manly. Here's the NEC replay.
The pass was forward, but it's a good piece of football. And again, Gene Miles was the guy that took the Redcliffe defence out of the play by just shuffling across the field. Here we see a Shepherd. But Colin Scott, one of the best players in the game, with his ability to run into a hole.
All of the Winfield State League final, with still 2.5 minutes remaining until half-time. Tackle count restarts. And this will be a penalty to Redcliffe. Indiscriminate kicking by Winner Manly. Flags are up. It's there, and the half-time score in the Winfield State League final is Winner Manly 20, leading Redcliffe 10. And in. Well, that's how quickly they can do it, Winner Manly. From near touch, and it's just short. No goal. So Winner Manly lead Redcliffe in the Winfield State League final by 24 points to 10. It's coming up for Redcliffe. To Murray again. Mel Green gets through just to try and put the kick down. Picked up quickly and given away to Gene Miles. Miles sprinting into the open. They won't stop him. It's Gene Miles first. Daylight second. Winner Manly are in to score, and they lead by 28 points to 10. I tell you what, have a look at the replay of this try on the NEC replay, and you'll see that Mel Green has a lot to do with this, the way he comes up on Mark Murray and didn't allow Murray to get the kick away properly, and Dawes snapped it up, and that was shut the gate.
Yeah, put it down to Mel Green, really. He's the captain of the defensive side for Winner Manly. He leads the way, and he's put a lot of pressure on the field kicker there, Mark Murray, and he just didn't have time to get the kick.
League than big Gene Miles in full flight. Colin Scott converts. It's 30 points to 10.
Up that right arm of his, you know, if you can get a chance to get over the top at him, you've just got to wrap up the right arm, otherwise he'll offload with that hand.
Peter Dawes getting his pass away to Brian Naylor. Naylor feeds it back on the inside to Peter Dawes, once more backing up. Little Peter Dawes backing up a la Terry Lamb style, and here it is again on the NEC replay.
But it's all Dawes. Dawes is involved here in another pass. You see him, he puts Naylor through the hole. Basketball style pass, but good play from him here. You can see him, he's urging him on, backs up on the inside and takes the pass to go across and score. And he's an aggressive little man, this fella. Not only does he come up with some big hits in defence, but he calls some shots around the centre of the ruck area.
Hits the upright back into the field of play. No goal. 34 to 10 it is before he reaches the quarter line.
The little man Ferrugi, of course, has got to have take a lot of reps. Here we go for another try.
Peter Sinclair going straight through a gap. He's got support if he needs it. Fires it back on the inside and they're going to score. Gene Miles touches down for Winner Manly, and that's try number 8. It looked for a moment as if Peter Sinclair had blown it. There was support on the outside. He elected to run himself, and there's a delighted Wally Lewis.
From Wally, and it's pleasing to see the big smile on Wally's face. No doubt Wally knows he's going to be away for interstate and Australian commitments, but he's got a very good young deputy in this fella, and if he listens to what Lewis has got to tell him, he can go right on with the job. And there's Gene Miles again. He just can't stop
it well. Greg Anders just sneaks that replay, that kick over as we go back to the replay of Gene Miles touching down for that try. Greg Anders converts, and Winner Manly have reached 40. They lead by 40 points to 10.
The Lewis, the Miles, Scotts and so on. Well, the Queensland Rugby League's in a very healthy state.
Oh, some bad defence now, though, by Redcliffe. And a lovely pass from Daryl Jenner. Back for Peter Dawes, and he'll sprint away under the post. Jenner just strode through some non-existent defence. Here it comes again. Jenner dummies. Straight past Greg Canescu.
And Mark Murray.
And Mark Murray. Peter Dawes backing up. And away goes Peter Dawes to score untouched under the pin. This time, Greg Anders gets it over with a little more ease. Winner Manly 46. Redcliffe 10. Petrie distributes back to Miles. Elects to run it himself. That one-handed pass around the corner to Colin Scott. It's where he had a golf ball in his hand. Back to Scott Lewis. Dawes is there again. This time he puts it on the deck. And it goes into touch as the hooter sounds for full time, and Winner Manly have retained their title as the Winfield State League champions with a resounding victory over Redcliffe. A thoroughly professional performance by Winner Manly, and for their stars, a great warm-up for the State of Origin next week. Winner Manly down Redcliffe by 46 points to 10 here at Lang Park. So the full-time score in the Winfield State League, Winner Manly defeating Redcliffe by 46 points to 10. Let's have a look at the breakdown of the scoring. And Winner Manly tonight ran in 9 tries. Wally Lewis, Greg Dowling, Brian Naylor, Ian French, Bob Lindner, with Gene Miles and Peter Dawes 2 apiece. For Redcliffe, their try scorer was Michael Webb. The goal kicking, Scott 3 from 7, Anders 2 from 2. For Redcliffe, Trevor Benson 3 out of 3.
Okay, here's how the Tigers line up. Darryl Harrison is the fullback. The wingers are John Butler and Mark McDonald. The centres are Greg Eastman and Trevor Cook. 5/8 is Steve Dowden. The halfback is Craig McAlpine. The lock four are Darren Smith, Ian Staines and David Patterson are the second rowers. The props are Alan Bell and Mark McIntyre, and the hooker is Warren Neve. The other team in today's final is, of course, the Diehards. Here's how the Diehards line up this afternoon. Steve Hegarty is the fullback. The wingers are Shane Buckley and Peter Shields. The centres, Peter Coyne and Kelly Egan. The 5/8, Brett Daunt. The halfback, Tony Catton. Lock forward is Wayne Cullen. The second row is Tim Fuller and Ziggy Strasser. The props are Lindsay Williams and Greg Walker, and the hooker is Billy Holmes.
And Peter Coyne leads the Diehards onto Lang Park for the Winfield State League final. A very, very good crowd in to see this match this afternoon. I know a lot of the State League matches haven't been played in front of big crowds, but there's a big gate in today, and they're going to see a crackerjack game between the Diehards and Eastern Suburbs. We'll have a free-flowing game, and here's Craig McAlpine leading out the Tigers.
Have a look at the Giants in front of him, on either side of him.
Maybe one day they'll be running onto Lang Park in some shape or form in the big league. So far it's one win apiece in the Winfield State League for both these sides. David Manson is the man in the centre. He blows the whistle and play is underway. Peter Shields. And he's tackled just outside the quarter.
He's in trouble now.
Coyne looking for a runner, picks up Holmes. Spinning it to Hegarty. Oh, and there's Egan into space. He'll run hard. He'll run up the line. Will he get there? By golly, he has. Oh, that's a strong run, Kelly Egan. The Diehards in to score. 4 points to 0 they lead, and that was a tenacious try.
And just what I said would happen. East defence in that back line. There was no one there. Look at Holmes, a long pass. He beat the man, got a pass away, and there was no one home except the fullback. He's gone round, and there's the defence, and that's tenaciousness at its best, and a good try, a good individual try. But I could see that if the Diehards moved it wide on any occasion since they've started, they were going to crack East back line because their defence is non-existent out there in the outside centres.
Well, Holmes did the right work, just clearing that ball with a monster of a pass to pick up Hegarty. Hegarty gets around Dowden, puts Egan into space. Now, Egan never had a man either side. He's lined up Harrison. He's gone straight for him. Held on to, has a look at the line. There it is. I can get there. You bet I can, brother. 4 points.
Second half.
Hegarty's hit a perler. Have a look at that. Straight as a die. And the Diehards lead in the Winfield State League by 6 points to 0. Catton puts it high. It's a good one. It's on a threatening piece. It's gone loose. Cook's come from an offside position. And is so. So the Diehards now lead East by 8 points to 0. You're watching the Winfield State League final here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Middle comes Caton. Coyne can't take it. East will dive on it. Penalty, Diehards. That looks all right. That's as straight as you can get. And the Diehards now go to a lead of 10 points to 0. You're watching the Winfield State League final on Nine's Wide World of Sports. What do they do now? McAlpine. Kick. And that's dropped, and that will be a try. Well, Peter Shields has butchered it. And Mark McDonald. 3 tries on Friday night and another one today, and that's what East needed. A lucky try, but they're back in the match.
Him on that one. You have a look at it. Here it comes. Now it comes at 100 mile an hour, and then just as he's about to set for it, like a wicket keeper, she's gone over the top of the head.
I might have been a bit severe on
I
it.
think you were.
Looking, stab this through. He's hit it pretty well. That's in for mine. Yep. Up and over. Great kick, Johnny Butler. That'll spur the Tigers on. McAlpine reversing. It goes to Patterson. And now McDonald. They lay off him. Inside to Harrison, and that's a try. East have done it. They did it on the final tackle. That's not good football from the Diehards. Darryl Harrison in to score. It's 10-all.
Oh, but top marks to McDonald. The try wasn't on, but he knew Harrison was coming like... Now, watch this. He calls. Watch it. McDonald's got it. Bit of a flick. I know you're there somewhere because he heard the call, and that's what this bloke with the ball...
Watch the performance of Alan Bell. There is number 11 when Harrison scores the try. Up goes the hands. There's McDonald setting up. Harrison inside, and just see if Bell comes into your screen. There's a close-up of Harrison putting the ball down. And there's Alan Bell. Well, we just don't see his reaction, but it was something to... something of elation.
Was there to back up the score.
Butler, not one of his Sunday best. And so we've got an even ball game. 10-all Easts and Diehards in the final of the Winfield State League, coming your way on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Pressure time now for Eastern Suburbs. Holmes, short side, Coyne gives it to Buckley, and that is a good try. Oh, that's a good, smart try from Peter Coyne. Shane Buckley in to score, and the Diehards regain the lead. They lead 14-10.
And watch the quick thinking of the dummy half here. Beautifully done, Holmes. And that was beautifully done also by Peter Coyne, the captain.
Coyne really stood McDonald up here, held the ball, waited till McDonald committed to Buckley and went past him, and Buckley was unopposed in the run of the post. So, how's that? Can't get much straighter than that. What a great kick from Steve Hegarty. And the Diehards now lead by 16 points to 10. 18 minutes gone to the second half of the Winfield State League final from Lang Park. The Diehards lead 16-10. A try here would just about wrap it up, but a penalty might be just as good. Hegarty up and over. So now the Diehards have an 8-point margin. They lead East by 18 points to 10. 3.5 minutes remaining. We might start our summaries. And Andrew, you're closest to the action down there.
Well,
first. Hang on, this could be a try. It will be. Well, you can hold your summary for a little while. Tony Catton's in to score. But East, they had to do something, Mick. They took the risk and paid for it.
I see. Well, there's one disappointed man still sitting on the ground, Bell. He made one hell of a botch of it. I don't know what he was trying to do. We only see the kick ahead and the drop on it, but they passed the ball to him. Here it is. Now, look at him. He goes, well, I can't pick it up. I'll let it bounce. Now, I don't know what happened, but just as he was thinking about dropping on it, it was towed ahead, and that little will-o'-the-wisp captain says, thank you very much. I'll run right under you. But a bit sad because Bell, look at him lying in the back play there. Very disappointed with himself, but he couldn't pick it up cleanly. Didn't want to knock it on, so he thought it'd be a nice bounce.
We go now to Andrew Slack and your summary.
Well, Ross Henrik, first of all, is giving all his squad a run. Paul Fitzgerald and Daryl Pitt are going on now. They're replacing Peter Shields and Wayne Cullen. Fitzgerald in 15, Pitt in 17. Well, East's really improved, a gutsy effort in the second half, but just didn't have it. Diehards have proved they're the best team in the competition at this stage of the year, but Harrison and McDonald again for East were very good. Cook improved his game in the second half, got things moving. Darren Smith, I think, was East's best player for the 80 minutes. He really tried. Staines made a few mistakes, as Mick had pointed out, but really he was left on his own a lot, so I think he tried extremely hard, and Alan Bell, well, he mucked up that last try, but he did enough work.
Darren Smith, the best of the forwards, followed closely by Patterson. And as we watch this slammer, and it looks pretty good.
Oh, ripper. An absolute curler from Steve Hegarty. 26-10 now, the lead for the Diehards.
And there she goes. And in the Diehards have really played well. And my man of the match, the bloke that kicked that goal, Hegarty, he defended. He did everything beautifully. Try-saving tackles, and put all the points on the board, or put plenty on. He's my man of the match.
Steve Hegarty, our Panasonic man of the match, and the Diehards are the winners in the Winfield State League for 1988. They defeat Eastern Suburbs by 26 points to 10.
Of the Winfield State League. Well, it's final day today. I'm glad you could join us here on Nine's Wide World of Sports, East and Central Queensland. Let's have a look how the two teams made it into today's final. Eastern Suburbs, well, they upset Valleys by 14 points to 8. And then, of course, it was Central Queensland who came out and played some fantastic football on Thursday night, and they downed Toowoomba 32-18. Toowoomba, for the third year in a row, missing out on a final berth in the Winfield State League.
Queensland and East. Central Queensland, the first country team into the final. We saw them in the semis, Andrew. They're a very flamboyant side. Not a lot of defence, but by golly, they score a lot of tries. A couple of really quick wingers. I think they'll get away with this afternoon. I think they'll create history.
Well, in the State League, they've scored almost twice as many points as East, but still East, I think, are a fine attacking side. They haven't shown us their best so far. I think they'll have pinpointed Central Queensland's strength on Thursday night, as you referred to, the wingers, G. Bung Miller, who goes further than that. I think that Desi Morris might have something up his sleeves. I'm going for the Tigers.
OK, we might take a break and be back with all...
In control, hits the whistle, and the State League final is underway. Here's Alberts. So Eastern Suburbs supporting the ball carrier on the final tackle. Inside the Capra's 22. Mark McDonald. Price. This could be a big try. It is from Martin Quinn. Well, the Capra's defence went missing. Beat Martin Quinn, steaming onto it out wide. The Capras had no answer. The big fellow in to score. Eastern Suburbs lead 4-0.
Well, some concerted attack from East. Mark McDonald coming in off his right wing to spark that movement, and that's how forwards, if they're out wide, should be running straight and hard. Marty Quinn, as I referred to earlier, showed a few of those characteristics on Thursday night, and he started today in the best possible way, taking a nice pass from Brad Price. As I said, he is a skillful player, Price. It's easy to throw passes when you know people like Martin Quinn are going to hit it like that. He's done it perfectly. He's got support outside, still got Darren Smith and Rod West. Doesn't need them. Gets outside one of Central Queensland's better players on Thursday night, Lloyd House. Is over in the line, and that could be crucial now.
No goal. Eastern Suburbs lead Central Queensland 4 points to 0. Curran. Sinclair to Muir. Price. Now, Sinclair, hands free. Here's Eckert. Inside it goes to Dowden. And the Capra's defence at 6s and 7s. Now Muir goes to dummy half. There's big Martin Quinn make that try number 2. And the Capra's haven't got an answer to the big fellow at the moment. Martin Quinn for his second try. Eastern Suburbs leading Central Queensland 8 points to 0.
And outstanding support brought up that try. OK, Martin Quinn did the final job with Nicky Muir here, but it was just prior to that when all that support coming was nice and close. Again, Eckert gets a pass inside to Dowden. He doesn't throw a silly pass, gets up and plays the ball despite a bit of attention from the Capras. They've got about 3 men overlap out to the left. Nicky Muir finds Quinn. He didn't need the other 2. He just barred through. Well, Peter White doesn't get to him. McCaffrey hasn't got the strength, and over he goes.
Hit that all right. Over. Eastern Suburbs lead Central Queensland by 10 points to 0. 13 minutes gone. Eastern Suburbs with a lead of 10 points to 0. Now through McCaffrey. Upcut. Elmore at the 22. 17 minutes gone first half. Upcut. Upcut. There's the support from Elmore. Peter Elmore's in. The Capras are back in business. Greg Upcut. He might look like the walking wounded out there, but when he decides to put on the toe, he was off like a startled rabbit. Elmore backed him up. East lead 10-4.
And he spotted this gap to the left of dummy half. Nobody covering that for East. He's got inside the defender, found Elmore in good support over the line, running strong. Now, there's not a tiger in sight there. Upcut takes full advantage, got a great step off the left foot. Elmore, who had previously taken the ball up, has come again to score the 4 points. So we've had 3 tries, all scored by forwards. Too late, Darren Smith.
Oh, after giving him the rap 6 from 6, he's made an absolute mess of that. Craig Walker, a little bit of touch of the nerves. Eastern Suburbs in front 10 points to 4. Back into position now. Sinclair and Price wrap around, and Sinclair finds a gap for Crosby. He'll go on his own. That's pretty poor cover. Very poor cover from the Capras. Bruce Crosby in to score. East lead by 14 points to 4.
And that's right, poor cover says it. Now, Peter Sinclair, the attacker, we'll see in the replay, through the pass. Now, whoever was defending him then had to come across. Sinclair throws the pass. Around he comes, but the defender doesn't come with him. Sinclair creates the overlap, gives it to Price, and a simple stroll to the try line. There he is coming around, but no defenders coming towards him. The fellow from the wing has to come in on Sinclair, and that leaves the gap. That's the beauty of Sinclair. Whenever he throws a pass, he then gets round in support. Defenders don't always do it. G-Bung in 2 minds. He's got a fellow to cope with out here. Price says, I don't need to, well, it's not Price, Bruce Crosby, sorry. I don't need that man. I'll go myself. And so Crosby's and Quinn, the 2 new men in the east side, have scored the 3 tries between them.
And that's how it'll stay. 14 points to 4. East lead Central Queensland. 15 minutes to half-time in the Winfield State League final. And away goes Muir from dummy half. And that's a try. Well, defence non-existent with the Capras. They've got to get to half-time. They've got to get their act together and regroup, or this will be a cricket score. 18-4, Eastern Suburbs lead.
Well, if your defence is not tight around the ruck, around dummy half when Nick Muir's playing, he'll take advantage, as he's shown. He's beaten, I would say, 4 tacklers there. He's finally gotten the last one by Craig Walker, but not effective. Firstly got around Peter White and Paul McCaffrey and Craig Walker, tripped over, bang, over the line. So they've really got to sharpen up there. As we said before, East aren't too flash around it either, but Central Queensland are 14 points down. They're the ones who should be more concerned.
18-4 with this kick to come from Payne. And 20 points to 4 it is. The Winfield State League final coming away from Lang Park. And at this stage of the commentary, we welcome our friends in Townsville through TNQ to the Winfield State League final. Now, can Miller be put into sort of gap out wide from Paul White? White going on his own. Back to Miller. And now the chase will be on. Over the top to G-Bung, and he's caught the desperate last ditch of the fence. Well, second last and then last. Gavin Payne, the man, coming over. But the Capras come alive. Just short of the 22. McDonald giving it to Muir and Price. Crosby, Payne. Now West. Has he got the speed to get to the corner? He has. Did it easily. That's the ball game. Eastern Suburbs in front by 24 points to 4. Very strong kicker, Payne. He's accurate, but not all that strong. Well, that's not strong and it's not accurate. It's neither, but it's 24 points on the board for East. Central Queensland have 4. There's 17 minutes to go in the final of the Winfield State League, and you're watching it from Lang Park. He's done his bit.
Bruce Crosby will come off for East, the number 17, replaced by Dave Patterson, number 11.
Sinclair giving it to West. Oh, yes. Space for Smith. Space for Smith. One pass. Sinclair. All class, Peter Sinclair. And I'll tell you something. When you look at the replay, have a look at the football now, Sir Peter Sinclair. Did he know where to run? He took all the shortcuts and ended up right as Johnny on the spot. 28-4 the lead.
Muir in the pass to Sinclair. He started the movement prior to Smith making the break. Now, where is he? On the inside. He knows something's on. He's on Smith's shoulder. That's where he is. And he shows a bit of pace through the tackle of G-Bung over for East's 6th try.
Smith's had a blinder playing in the second row today. Did everything right. Sinclair was the right man at the right time. And he's a good player, Peter Sinclair. He's had a lot of bad luck with the Broncos, with injuries over the past, I think, 2 seasons. But when he's right, he's a very, very good footballer, a very skilled player.
And he's not one.
Lifts it over. East lead by 30 points to 4. Payne. There's the countdown. There's the hooter. It's full time. And Eastern Suburbs win the Winfield State League final for this year. The defeated Eastern Suburbs by 30 points to 4. Congratulations to Des Morris and the Eastern Suburbs boys, and congratulations to Central Queensland and their coach Greg Reynolds. The other night, I don't think we saw one punt thrown from Central Queensland. I think we saw any today. They just went out there. They played at the best. Well, here come Eastern Suburbs onto Lang Park, the defending champions in the Winfield State League. Very good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Bruce Warwick. The defending champions out first, Bruce.
Yes, and they look keen and very enthusiastic about it, Alan.
Let's have a look at the eastern suburb side. The fullback is Ken Jackson, the three-quarters, Pat Cowell, Mark Nash, Steve Wilkes and Steve Dowden. The halves are Chris Hastings and Andrew Need. Have a look at their pack of forwards. The front row is Ian Staines, the skipper, Rob Rattiri, the hooker. The other prop is Steve Herman. The second rows are Sean Keating and Scott Nielsen. And the lock is the big hitter, Darren Wolans, and they're coached by Johnny Lang. And they had a very, very lucky win here Wednesday night, Bruce Warwick, to get into the final. And here come the diehards, led by Tony Catton. They had a very easy win over Brothers, whereas East got up in the last 50 seconds over North Queensland.
And this is certainly the side that comes into the game as favourite. It's a very strong team. Hegarty's at fullback. The three-quarters are Burke, Coyne and O'Neill and Buckley. The halves are Daunt and Shadell, and that's where their strength is. The forwards, a very good-looking pack of forwards, very big. Anderson and Fitzgerald and Rolls make up the front row. Then the combination of Boys and Strasser in the second row. And as Alan mentioned, Tony Catton, the captain, is the lock forward. Ross Hendrick, the coach. And it should be a great game. We've had some outstanding lead-up games to today's final, and it doesn't matter what sort of competition. Once you get to a final, there's something special.
And the clock started a little bit early. We've lost about 14 seconds, but that won't matter, I suppose. Or will it come the last 14 seconds of the match? Well, Valleys are opening up in the early part of the match. Dowden floating one over the top, and here's Jackson. Here's Jackson. How's that? Valley's looking very, very vulnerable, and the defending champions draw first blood. Kenny Jackson in the score. East lead by 4 points to 0. Certainly was. He makes no mistake. So Eastern Suburbs lead by 6 points to 0. 6 minutes gone first half. You're watching the final of the Winfield State League on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Poppybook tackle from Wolans. Shadell sneaking, almost a shepherd. Here's Catton. Boys into space. There's the try line. Valley's hit back. Richard Boys in to score. And Eastern Suburbs lead by 6 points to 4.
Defence, but there was a lot of lead-up work here by Valleys that went nowhere, and I think it just caught East defence napping a little bit, and then finally when the pass did go wide, Boys, once he got through, big and strong, too quick, and the try is there to Valleys.
Nice pass from Tony Catton. Beautiful short pass. And Boys hitting it, hitting the line. Hegarty makes no mistake, so we've got an even ball game. It's 6 points all, and there's 13 minutes gone first half. Paul Fitzgerald, it's gone through Daunt and Coyne. Jinking. Back to Strasser. Someone will have to straighten it up. Shadell's found space, and the support's from Boys. Over the top, he floats it. Here's Burke. Try number 2, diehards. Oh, he's kicking out on the full, off the kick. And that has cost them at least 4, maybe 6. Valleys lead by 10 points to 6. No goal. Valleys lead East 10 points to 6. Whistled to the ground by Richard Boys. Now, well, I'm not so sure about that. That's a nice kick. Oh, beautiful kick. Well done. Valleys now lead 10 points to 8 from his nose, so he's obviously got a hit there. Oh, half a shepherd, I'd think. Here's trouble. Burke. Burke. Over. David Burke in to score, but on wide. And Valleys lead by 14 points to 8. Wilkes. The call was from Nash. Now, has Hegarty got the speed and cover? I don't think he has. He's no hope. Mark Nash is in. Yes. Eastern Suburbs run 70 metres to score. Mark Nash with a ton of speed down the flank. And Valleys lead by 14 to 12. So level it up. Hits it beautifully. Oh, an absolute gem from Kenny Jackson. 14 all, the Winfield State League final. We'll be back in a moment.
A bit where Eastern Suburbs seem to have got another life out of that try, and they look particularly strong at the moment.
Here comes Wilkes. He might have the pace to beat Hegarty. He's almost there. He's there. He's there. Stevie Wilkes in to score. And that will stay out to the left, so that's no goal. So Eastern Suburbs lead Valleys 18-14, 15 minutes gone, second half. Oh, this might be a try. This might be a try. Is it a try? David Manson arrives on the scene, gives the penalty for the late tackle on Daunt.
Jackson, the man.
Makes no mistake, and Eastern Suburbs lead by 18-16, and there's 18 minutes to go in the match. Fitzgerald now to Daunt. Shadell acts as a 5'8", and a long pass to Coyne. Dummies, back inside to Shadell. Yes, this is a try, good stuff. Oh, Valleys have done it. Tony O'Neill in to score.
Have a look at the hold up of the ball here. Goes across the Valleys back line. That's where it's held there and comes back inside. It's kept alive from Coyne onto Shadell on the burst, and then beautiful backing up from O'Neill to come around and score a very good try.
So Hegarty kicks it. Valleys lead 22-18, 13 minutes to go in the match. The Winfield State League final coming your way on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Tweedy losing it on the tackle, and now it's with Keating. Now he's got a big chance here. It's against Shadell.
I think every bloke on the field would prefer it that way.
So Jackson straight through the high diddle. Valleys lead 22-20, 12 minutes remaining. Daunt. Oh, it's gone away here to Burke. Now, what's inside? There's defence, there's attack, and there's Trevor Shadell, and he will score! Trevor Shadell's in, they laid off him. The little halfback. Well, we said earlier, Valleys were to get back into the match. Shadell had to spark it. He created the try for O'Neill, and now he scored one on his own, and he's just stood and looked at him. Valleys lead 26-20.
Daunt's pass here and the pickup by Burke was the one that set all the try up. Good work from Burke. He came from nowhere to take it, then got it back infield, and look at Shadell just come from nowhere to back up again. And once they hung off him there thinking he was going to pass to Burke, he just had too much pace and scored an excellent try. A great player, Trevor Shadell, and he's going to go a long way, I think, in this game of rugby league, because he has all the skills and he certainly shows them here. But I think the work that Burke did early in getting into position to take that short pass off Daunt and then to create the opening for Shadell, excellent change of pace there. Just
Is that coming back? It is. It's over. So Hegarty converts the try, and Valleys lead 28-20. 6 minutes remaining, and Bruce, that might be just about enough to get them home now. And Coyne, Greg, back around from Coyne, now to Daunt. Brett Daunt's in to score. Valleys too strong at the death.
Part of the Valleys revival when they looked in trouble early in the second half, but great play.
The score was 32.
Greg did well there also to hold the ball up, but then the wrap around again, and Daunt just had too much, and the numbers were too few for Eastern Suburbs.
Straight as a die.
Ripper.
Straight over the black dot, and Valleys now lead 34-20. There's 2 minutes to go.
It still went over to Valleys. Here's a chance.
And here's a try. Steve Wilkes, right on full time, gets the bounce of the ball and scores underneath the post. The Winfield Cup, Jackson adds the extras. That's it, that's full time. And Valleys are the champions in the Winfield State League for 1990. They've defeated the defending champions, Eastern Suburbs, by 34 points to 26.
Metres out the Marlins, it goes to Mackay. Mackay takes them on, tries to bump off the defence, but they're pinned inside there inside the 5 metres, so the penalty goes to North Queensland. So Stephen Craig moves in,
And he raises the flags. First points of the match go to North Queensland. They lead after just 3 minutes, 2 points to nil. That defensive line, last tackle for the Capitals. Holmes, Groff with the grubber. Back there is Saunders, and he puts it dead in goal once more, so the pressure's still on the Marlins. It was Mackay, and Mackay getting through a lot of defensive work so far in the match. Last tackle. Groff hoists it high. Blackman's under it. It goes back. It's going to be a try to the Capitals. Gerard Kerr has come up with a try after a Marlins mistake. Blackman not taking it cleanly. And the first try of the match goes to the Brisbane side. They lead North Queensland by 4 points to 2. Prolific point-scoring winger. Has had great success in the State League so far with the boot. The Marlins looking on as he moves in, strikes it sweetly. No trouble, he says. It's a goal. 6-2, the Capitals lead the Marlins. 10 minutes gone in the match. They're about 30 metres out from the North Queensland try line. Groff, another high ball. Craig under pressure. He misses it completely. It's been picked up. No, he calls it back for the knock on. Well, Jason Hetherington was on his way to the try line, but Ian Irwin has spotted an infringement by the Brisbane Capitals. So we'll let off for North Queensland as Sablu takes it forward to the 22-metre line. Stephen Bella is keen to get the ball, but it goes to Spina instead. Clifford's driven back to his teammate in Spina. Young, Gagai with a gap. He goes between the defence, pops the ball back for a Capitals player. Is it a try? He's going to award the try to Blackman. 6 to go is the ruling. It's come off a Capitals player, and Raymond Blackman has come back to level the scores. It's 6-all. So Blackman, who let the Brisbane side in for that first try, has responded in the perfect way possible. He's come up with a try himself to lock up the ball game. The Moranbah club. He moves in. This one is to the right of the uprights. Score remains North Queensland 6, Brisbane Capitals 6. Groff. Robertson. They're keeping it alive, the Capitals. Here comes Kerr. Kerr looking for a double. They won't stop him. Gerard Kerr comes up with his second try to put the Brisbane Capitals in front. 10-6 with the kick to come. Takes his time, moves in, strikes it okay, but falls a bit short. So the half-time score remains Brisbane Capitals 10, North Queensland 6. We'll take a break and be back for the second half right after this. Kai tries to fend off Groff, but a penalty goes to the Capitals, and it's against Scott Mackay perhaps for raising his arm in the tackle. Gerard Kerr moves in, raises the flags. Again, he scored all the points so far for the Brisbane Capitals. Brisbane 12, North Queensland 6. Line. Holmes goes himself, sends it out to Kennedy. Back for Holmes. Holmes has got plenty of support. Here comes Retchless, another try for the Capitals. 13 on 12, and the Capitals come up with a try as Stephen Bella warms up to come back on, but it's all too late. Gerard Kerr with another easy shot at goal, hoping to put his side 12 points clear. From right in front, he raises the flags. More points for the Capitals. They have stretched away now to an 18-6 lead. We've had 9 minutes of play in the second half. Tackle now for North Queensland. Spina hoists it high in the air. It's been knocked on by Gagai, I think. The Brisbane side has come up with it. Spina, Young for Saunders, who's come from one side of the field of the other. Gay guy to Blackman for the corner. He's come up with a second try. Blackman in the corner for North Queensland. The Marlins are back in the ball game. 18-10 with the kick to come. Terrific boot in the minds of some of this crowd because he's taken it back a long, long way. It's a high kick and it's going to fall well short of the mark. No goal. The score remains Brisbane 18, North Queensland 10. Capitals. For the corner is the winger, Kerr, but he's been bundled into touch. Steele Richless trying to set up the winger for his for a hat-trick. The Marlins, Young at 5'8". Puts one of those characteristic rubber kicks through. Over the top again. It's been taken by Gruff in the in-goal area. He's been driven back. So a lucky play for North Queensland, perhaps. They will get the ball back from the restart. McKenzie, but a penalty to Brisbane. North Queensland inside the 5. And this may well be within goal-kicking range for Gerard Kerr. Well, it's going to be a tap from Gruff. He takes it forward. He steals about 10, 12 metres there. Defence caught napping. McKenzie takes it forward. Hetherington, Robertson slips as he tried to offload back there to a support player. Kennedy. Back for Fisher. Vincent now. Final tackle for the Capitals. 11 minutes to go. A try here would seal it. Gruff with the grubber kick coming through is the centre in Taylor. He's come up with a try. That's the ball game. Good night, North Queensland. It's 22-10 with the kick to come. This kick is wide though. Score remains Brisbane Capitals 22, North Queensland 10. We've just got under 9.5 minutes to go. Murphy and Sablou. Attempted high tackle coming in there from Dallas Daly. He will be called out. Ian Irwin hasn't missed this one either. Perhaps getting a little frustrated in the dying stages, Dallas Daly. Slightly off cue. 24 metres out. Strikes it okay, and it's a goal. 24-10 is the scoreline. And certainly no hope now of a North Queensland revival with just under 5 minutes to go. To have it put down. Referee Ian Irwin says play on. Tight head scrum win there to the Capitals. And a penalty to the Capitals now against North Queensland second rower Darryl Sablou. And he's certainly going down with the ship, Darryl Sablou, reluctantly throwing the ball back there. The countdown, and there goes the full-time siren as the Capitals kick for touch. So, final throw of the dice here for the Capitals to rub more salt into the North Queensland wounds. Perhaps looking for a final try on the last tackle, the last play of the match. The grubber kick coming through is the replacement player, Kelso. It's a try. Yes, it is. Brett Kelso on the siren. 28-10 with the kick to come. About a minute ago, but he moves in to add the extras. And again, he raises the flags. The Brisbane Capitals have run out comfortable winners tonight at Lang Park. Brisbane has defeated them, the North Queensland side, by 30 points to 10.